All the prisoners got his time. Time is prison.
Good morning, world. It is Friday, August the 22nd. This is the Eric Goodell Show, and I am back again, getting the hang of this social media biz. And I have chock full for you today, a show full of interesting tidbits. First of all, was the election stolen? This article on the Libertarian Republic says investigations are underway, suspected voter fraud in Virginia and Maryland. This article by Jonah Bennett says Virginia Voters Alliance, an election integrity group, has called attention to the surprising amount of duplicate voter registrations in Maryland and Virginia, challenging the view that voter fraud is non-existent, Watchdog reports. According to the Virginia Voters Alliance, the VVA, the state has decided to term these as inactive voters, meaning that they join the total of 43,896 Virginia and Maryland voters who were eligible to vote up until 2019. As state officials have taken little action, Fairfax General Registrar Cameron Quinn has announced she intends to step in. Although since there are an estimated of 14,646 duplicate registrations, it's a race to the clock to remove them before the voter database freezes 60 days before a general election. We can't do anything with that number of names in the time we have, Quinn said, according to Watchdog. For Quinn, the best option is to send out letters to all of the duplicate voters in Virginia, asking them to clarify their status. This is a major concern. It has been for a long time in this country, where voter fraud is just running rampant. The establishment does not want to fess up to it. They don't want to take ownership of it, and nothing gets done. And we have dead people voting. It's out of control. According to this article on Liberty Viral, deputies surround man carrying umbrella they thought it was a rifle. The University of San Marcos in California went on lockdown after someone mistook a man carrying an umbrella for a rifle. Students were ordered to take shelter in the morning after San Diego County Sheriff's Department got a call that a bald man was carrying a rifle and seen on campus. Police located the man and surrounded him, pointing rifles at his head and searching him until they realized that his rifle was actually an umbrella. You can see a picture of him there on the right. Campus police said they located the man shortly after 9 a.m. He was carrying an umbrella, not a weapon. I want you to look at these police officers in the photo. This is insane. Now look at these police officers. They look like they're geared up to fight Al-Qaeda or something. I mean, when you can't even carry an umbrella through a college campus, you know you've got a problem somewhere. So here we've got the paramilitary on the streets, military equipment being given to small local police departments, where you don't even have a Fourth Amendment right to free speech anymore. And they're worried about little kids with pop guns and guys on college campuses carrying umbrellas. Cell phone video emerges that refutes St. Louis cops' version of shooting. This article on the freethoughtproject.com says that St. Louis on Tuesday, while tensions continued to simmer in Ferguson, just a few miles away, 25-year-old KMG Powell was gunned down by St. Louis cops. Officers claimed that they were in fear of their lives as Powell charged at them with a knife. They claim he had the knife in an overhand grip and came within 3 feet of the officers, at which time they opened fire, killing Powell. The incident stemmed from a call by a Six-Star market owner after Powell allegedly stole 2 energy drinks, according to KSDK. Reports from witnesses claim that Powell was acting erratically, pacing back and forth on the street and talking to himself while carrying a knife. St. Louis Metro Police Chief Sam Dotson responded to a question of whether the shooting was justified, said his officers have a right to go home at night, going on to say that all officers have a right to defend themselves. He went on to defend his officers' actions, saying that they used deadly force due to the suspect with a knife coming within 3 or 4 feet of the officers, which would be considered within lethal range. New cell phone video has emerged that calls into question officers' versions of events and Dotson's defense of his officers leading up to the shooting. In the video, two cops arrive together, exit the vehicle, and demand Powell to drop the knife. Powell begins yelling, "Shoot me, shoot me, shoot me now," as he walks onto a ledge and steps off as if to approach. Powell had his hands at his side, never came within more than 10 to 15 feet of the officers before they opened fire, killing him. Now let's check out this video.
So now the police gonna pull up. You see if y'all call the police? He's bagging up. He got his gun out. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. They got their guns out. Oh, he just killed this man. Damn. Oh my God.
Now granted, this guy wasn't very smart and he was instigating an incident with the police. On the other hand, police are trained, or should be trained, to handle things in a more professional manner, and their lives were not immediately in danger. They have ways of taking people down without outright killing them. My issue with this is that cops cannot ethically act as judge, jury, and executioner all in the same field of operation. I mean, whatever happened to a jury of your peers? Whatever happened to due process? Is that just out the window because he's a poor, uneducated black man in a poor neighborhood? I mean, the man stole 2 energy drinks. I'm sure he was flouncing around acting like an asshole, but to shoot him? And then to lie about it. To just bald-faced lie about it. I wonder if these cops are going to get another paid vacation, aka administrative leave. This article, posted on the Raw Story, says cops gunned down headphones wearing Utah man because he wouldn't comply with orders. Here's a picture of him here. Police shot and killed a 20-year-old Monday who was wanted for probation violation, but the man's brother said he was wearing headphones and could not hear the officer's orders. Officers were called about 7 p.m. to a 7-Eleven store in Salt Lake City after witnesses reported a man waving a gun around. Dylan Taylor was walking out of a convenience store with his brother and cousin when officers arrived, and police said Taylor matched the description of the suspect. 3 officers said they ordered Taylor to reveal his hands, but they said he ignored their commands and was visibly upset. Taylor was then shot by police and was pronounced dead at the scene. His brother said Taylor was wearing headphones and did not hear the officers until they surrounded him. He couldn't hear them, so he just kept walking, said Jarrell Taylor. Then they had guns pointed at his face. That's when he turned off the music. I saw them point guns at my brother's face and I knew what was going to happen. One officer told Dylan Taylor to get on the ground, but another told him to place his hands on top of his head. He got confused. He went to pull up his pants to get on the ground and they shot him, Jarrell Taylor said. Police have not said whether Taylor was armed at the time, but his brother insists he didn't have a gun. All this complaining about one of us having a gun. I'm kind of lost at because none of us had a gun, said Jarrell Taylor. A warrant was issued last week for Dylan Taylor, who said on his Facebook page that he did not want to go back to jail. I want to be clear here also that I am in no way against police officers. They're a necessity. They have a hard job, a dangerous job. They have my respect. My deal is accountability, which seems to be increasingly going out the window these days, is that they are attacking citizens under the premise of defending themselves or being afraid for themselves in situations which do not even call for said violence. I mean, aren't they here to protect and serve us? It seems like more and more we're seeing that they are protecting and serving themselves or the interests of the politicians who make the laws, and they're not defending the Constitution that they swore an oath to. I want to call your attention to an article in the New York Times. Justices rule police do not have a constitutional duty to protect someone. This article by Linda Greenhouse, published June 28, 2005. The Supreme Court ruled on Monday that the police did not have a constitutional duty to protect someone from harm. The decision, with an opinion by Justice Antonin Scalia and dissents from Justices John Paul Stevens and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, overturned a ruling by a federal appeals court in Colorado. The appeals court had permitted a lawsuit to proceed against a Colorado town, Castle Rock, for the failure of the police to respond to a woman's pleas for help after her estranged husband violated a protective order by kidnapping their 3 young daughters, whom he eventually killed. For hours on the night of June 22, 1999, Jessica Gonzalez tried to get the Castle Rock police to find and arrest her estranged husband, Simon Gonzalez, who was under a court order to stay 100 yards away from the house. He had taken the children, ages 7, 9, and 10, as they played outside, and he later called his wife to tell her that he had the girls at an amusement park in Denver. Miss Gonzalez conveyed the information to the police, but they failed to act before Miss Gonzalez arrived at the police station hours later, firing a gun with the bodies of the girls in the back of his truck. The police killed him at the scene. The theory of the lawsuit Miss Gonzalez filed in federal district court in Denver was that Colorado law had given her an enforceable right to protection by instructing the police on the court order that you shall arrest or issue a warrant for the arrest of a violator. She argued that the order gave her a property interest within the meaning of the 14th Amendment's due process guarantee, which prohibits the deprivation of property without due process. The district court and a panel of the United States Court of Appeals for the 10th Circuit dismissed the suit, but the full appeals court reinstated it and the town appealed. The Supreme Court's precedents made the appellate ruling a challenging one for Miss Gonzalez and her lawyers to sustain. You can read this full article for yourself on the New York Times website. But the thing is that in 1999, we've already set the precedent that the police do not have a constitutional obligation to protect you, only to enforce laws set forth by crooked politicians. Well, that's it for the show today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. And if you liked it, please do not forget to like and subscribe. And I will see you on the flip side.
All the prisoners got his time. Time is prison. All this poison.